Good morning and welcome back to Flashback Friday here on Gaming with ADHD, where today we're going to be taking a retro look at a book that, well, sort of a book. It's a product. It's a gaming product that I credit as one of my big inspirations for getting me interested in gaming in general. Obviously, there were board games that I played as a kid. This technically was not the first role-playing product that I owned, but it is one that I just have a distinctive memory of. Now, you've probably already seen the picture, but I should probably go ahead and mention it. But it's the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition Monstrous Compendium. Now, this was the 2nd edition version of the Monster Manual. Obviously, it's got a bit of a different name, but they also took a different approach to it, which is just something that's always stuck with me about just being kind of a cool product and something that I was excited about. So, before we get into this, do make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I try to put out a few videos each week covering all sorts of tabletop gaming content, whether it's board games, miniatures, role-playing, or anything in between or related. Come along. I'd love to share it with you, and I'd love for you to put in your thoughts and your opinions as well. There are a couple of links. There will be a link to this over at DriveThruRPG if you're interested in picking up a copy of it yourself, although it will be a little bit different from what I show off today. But there's also links to Amazon. Basically, if you want to help out the channel at no additional cost, we'd appreciate it, but absolutely not required. So, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and flip over to our infamously small work table where you can see the product itself. Now, I actually acquired this, I think about like 2-3 months ago. I've been meaning to get to this. Sorry. Yes, I keep getting distracted. Surprise. But I picked it up at my local used bookstore a couple of months ago, and it's in surprisingly good condition. Now, this was originally released in 1988, and for me, the first time that I ever saw it, it wasn't at a game store, it wasn't at a bookstore, it was in the auditorium at my junior high, and I was sitting next to this kid. I don't remember his name. The only thing I remember is that he was a Jewish kid because he wore the yarmulke and the whole 9 yards to school. Kind of a nerd, but, good kid. I do remember it. And he takes out this thing, and I start looking at it, and I was just amazed. I had no clue really what I was looking at, but it was just amazing and inspiring, and I loved every second of it. Anyways, so, what it is, it's actually a binder. 3-ring, hole punched, whole 9 yards. Overall, I realize I've got my, camera. I've already got it zoomed almost all the way out. But it's still in really, really good condition. I'm actually kind of surprised. The corners are mostly intact, a little bit of wear, some discoloration on the cover, but honestly nothing that is really worth comparing or complaining about, considering how old it is. Again, this is almost 40 years old at this point. And so the funny thing is, I've never owned this. Even since I purchased it at the bookstore, I really haven't even dug through it. So essentially that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to flip through quite a bit of it. I'm going to brag at what I ended up getting, because I'll show you that here in a second. But as you can see, this is marked as Volume 1. Basically, because it's a binder, they released with just a small amount of pages in it. And then they would sell additional sets where you could then add it to the binder. The funny thing is right now, so I don't know. Actually, yeah, you can kind of tell what's going on here. Of course, the reflection doesn't really help. Here, oh, that's a little bit better. Here, how about I try focusing it? All right. So all of this, these are all individual pages. We've got some art plates, things like that. But essentially, this is actually volumes 1 through 5. So this isn't the first volume. So if you're wondering, one binder will fit about 5. I'm not sure if they released additional binders later on. I do know a lot of people ended up having to get rid of their binder and get new ones just because they would fall apart, which is kind of disappointing because that's what I liked about it, was the binder aspect. That you could essentially make your own book out of all of these. So it was still just one of those that just grabbed me. I absolutely loved it. So let's start flipping through. So all of the page dividers, so you got your little tab over here, they all have different art plates. I don't know if I'm going to recognize any of the signatures from the artists, but again, for just classic 80s fantasy art, this is amazing. I don't think there was necessarily any rhyme or reason as to how you were supposed to put the color plates in. I'm going to be very, very gentle so that I don't ruin any of the pages. Obviously, okay, so it's going to give you a breakdown on how to use it. So climate and terrain describes where the teacher is most often found. Frequency, so how many are you going to find together? Organization, active cycle, diet, intelligence, treasure, alignment. Basic. It's all the stats that you need to incorporate the monster into your game. Instructions for the blank monster form. It does, like over here, it's got an alphabetical index to the Monstrous Compendium. Got the information for Volume 2, which again adds the expanded index. And again, how to use it. This is Dragonlance supplement. I think Dragonlance was Dragonlance was Volume 4. Got Greyhawk, which I think is number 5. Yeah. So, I don't know what happened to number 3. Wasn't mine. Again, I got it used. I've got the classic cover for Castle Ravenloft with Count Strahd. And then we get into the monsters. Now, the person who turned this in did put everything together. It's more or less alphabetized. But, again, you have all the information. You have a single picture in black and white of the monster. And then you have just a whole description. So, the Aarakocra are a race of intelligent birdmen that live on the peaks of the highest mountains, spending their days soaring on the thermal winds in peace and solitude. They're about 5 feet tall and have a wingspan of 20 feet. About halfway along the edge of each wing is a hand with 3 human-sized fingers and an opposable thumb. An elongated fourth finger extends the length of the wing and locks in place for flying. Though the wing hands cannot grasp during flight, they are nearly as useful as human hands when an Aarakocra is on the ground and its wings folded back. The wing muscles anchor in a bony chest plate that provides the Aarakocra with extra protection. The powerful legs end in 4 sharp talons that can unlock and fold back to reveal another pair of functional hands, also with 3 human-sized fingers and an opposable thumb. The hand bones, like the rest of the Aarakocra's skeleton, are hollow and fragile. Combat. In aerial combat, an Aarakocra fights with either his talons or heavy-fletched javelins that he clutches in his lower hands. So again, they're telling you, how the monster works, how it looks, things like that. So I mean, they're like, it's a monster manual. If you're familiar with D&D, you get it. But as a 12, yeah, I would have been, yeah, as a 12-year-old kid at the time, again, this was amazing. What are these monsters? Where is all of this coming from? I hadn't seen any of this before. So, you know, the art, honestly, the art's pretty good. Yes, it was second edition, but, you know, they weren't skimping on the art. There's still plenty of, like, it doesn't have to be great. I mean, it's a gorilla, you know, or should I say a carnivorous ape? You know, but overall, it's just it's good art. It's good inspiration. You know, being able to visualize this. And yes, the binder, you got to be careful. You know, you can't just, you know, zoom through the pages and expect everything to last a long time. The fact that this has held up as well as it did for 40 years, I'm actually really, really shocked at. The pages really aren't that discolored. You know, there's a little bit of yellowing, but nothing that I would be upset over. But just, again, just fun, inspirational ideas. That's what these books are supposed to be, is just inspiration. You know, give you ideas on, you know, what to play with in your game, what to throw against your players to make the adventure more exciting. You know, here's this one's easily. You know, and the fact that, like, so this is 5 of the volumes. Parkinson on this one. You know, this is a ton of information. I don't even know exactly how many pages it is. Hey, look, we got dinosaurs. Another Parkinson with some drow and some giants and a mind flayer. You know, it's like, even after all of these years, you know, even having never gotten to play a game of, you know, D&D second edition, actually, who was this one? I don't know who did this one. I can't see a name. I see a mark, but I don't know the name. Anyways, but it's just, it's one of the things that I've loved about role-playing games, is just the creativity behind it. I like reading about these extra worlds. Mostly because I don't usually get a chance to play in them, but whatever. You know, just some of the like Galibdur. Okay, it's a boulder monster. I mean, you know, the things that these old designers would come up with. You know, it's so different and creative and fun. You know, anyways, you know, I overall, I mean, like, yeah, that's essentially really all I have to say. We'll flip through some more, and you can see some more of the art that they used. Daniel Horn for this color plate. You know, they would go through. They would use like regular animals. You know, hyenas, gorillas, all that kind of stuff. It's not just fantasy monsters. You know, sometimes it's nice to just put your players up against, you know, bunch of jackals. You know, I absolutely love all of this. I will admit, when I got it, I tried separating it out so that I could go through. Here's volume 1, here's volume 2. Anyways, I'm glad I didn't. You know, I it was a mess. Oh, we have the infamous Kender. Look, they don't steal your stuff. They just forget they took it. That's all. Anyways, I do kind of think I need to sit down and play some older D&D. Just to try it. You know, not necessarily for, you know, oh, I need to play an old campaign, you know, stuff like that. But just try some of these older rule sets. You know, who knows? Maybe I'll have to figure it out on my own. I don't know. I think it's Windig, so that would be Chuck Windig on this one. Anyways, it's Madar are male counterparts to Medusae, although they lack the petrifying gaze of the females. But, you know, a couple weeks ago they announced, D&D's gonna get, you know, finally gonna get male Medusa and male Dryads. It's like they already have those weirdos. Anyways, whatever. Maybe one day I'll do some reviews on D&D 24. I have access to the books. Legitimate copies. Thank you very much. Anyways, but yeah, this is great. It looks like an old school dragon, like you would have seen, like the Holmes Basic box, things like that. But obviously done in a much better style. I do not see a name on this one. Not saying it's not there, but the artist hit it really well. Or it was on a different piece of the painting. That could always be the case, too. Another picture of Strahd. Anyways, all right. We'll just go through we're already at 20 minutes. If you're still here, thank you. Hit the like button. You know, I hope you enjoyed it. We'll just flip through and get to the rest of the color plates for you guys. But these are all just fantastic. I love just good art. To me, that even having just the basic black and white art for the monsters, the fact that they still interspersed these dividers and gave you good color plates as well, like that's perfect. I would be totally fine if gaming books wanted to go back to just mostly black and white art, but just give us a little bit of color here and there. Okay, I don't know why, I really like this painting. It's kind of old style, goofy looking. It was 85 originally, but regardless, it has both the technical expertise, but still, it looks like I could see it in like a Rankin Bass stop motion animation, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, or Frosty the Snowman, something like that. Anyways, I love all of this. Another painting by Easy. This is amazing. And again, the fact that it's 40 years old, but you can still be inspired, still be amazed by the quality of the art, really, really talks to just the quality level of these artists, especially because they didn't have digital tools. It's like, they're literally painting on canvas to do these. Anyways, I have no idea what is going on in this painting, because we got, like, it looks like a professional lab, but then obviously we've got a beholder and a drow and a peg-leg dwarf. Like, I guess they couldn't decide what to do. I don't see an artist on this one, but again, great. Really reminds me of like the old gold box video games for D&D. Loved those as a kid. Never finished any of them. That's a whole separate issue. Yeah, me not finishing a game. Surprise. Looks like we've got like a whole Aladdin situation going on with this one. Okay, this looks like it needs to be on the side of a van. And then we've got one extra plate. These are just great. These are goofy. I love this. Anyhow, so that is Monstrous Compendiums volumes 1 through 5. I actually have a couple extra. I might cover those at some point, but for now, I mostly just wanted to talk about this one, kind of why it inspired me to be interested in this hobby. I hope you had some fun with it. I really do. Let me know down in the comments. What was the book that hooked you? Why is it that you ended up in the hobby? I'd absolutely love to hear from you on it. And we'll talk about it, in the comments, but also I've got some other ideas. So stay tuned for that. So with that said, folks, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we will talk to you next time.